What's up, everyone? I have a serious question for you today. Is a part of what you earn yours to keep? Now, when I say that, you might think, well, all of what I earn is mine. I mean, obviously, if you have a job, if you go work and you come home and you get a paycheck, it's all yours, right? Well, at the end of the month, when you look at your bank account, when you look in your wallet, how much money is there? Right now, the average person in this country has less than $400 in their bank account. Now, when I hear that, as far as I understand, you're definitely not keeping all that you earn. Now, the biggest question is, are you at least keeping a percentage of what you earn? Is a percentage of what you earn working for you? Or are you, I mean, for lack of a better term, are you just a slave to money, and you might as well still be a slave where you're working for food and clothes and a roof over your head, but at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you have nothing to show for it. Now, when I say that, I say this with a reason behind it. I'm not just trying to be a jerk. If you are working for yourself, if you're working for somebody else, a lot of people talk about, oh, life is short, da da da. Well, life is getting longer as far as life expectancy. It's not 1920 where we're expected to live to like 45 or 50, and then the 1930s where we're expected to live to 60 to 64. The average life expectancy right now for a millennial is, I believe, 92, which is just, if you think about it, it's mind-blowing. Going along with that, though, when you work, are you saving money? As far as, are you keeping a percentage? You should keep at least 1/10 of what you earn to be able to begin to have your money work for you. I understand if you are spending for your phone, if you're spending for your house, if you're spending for your car to get to work. I mean, if you live in South Florida, public transportation is, yeah, but you're not taking it to get everywhere. There's no way that I could do what I do without a car. Amanda can't do what she does without a car. So I understand that there are expenses, but you don't want to be spending every single dollar you have, because until you have, and I just reread The Richest Man in Babylon, great book. If you guys haven't read it, check it out. But if you don't have golden soldiers to work for you, then you're working for them. So if you're not taking 1/10 or more, 1/10 is the minimum, because if you work for 10 years and you save 1/10 of what you make per year for 10 years, how much money do you have? Now, if you just said that you have 1 year's salary, then you're half right. Because if you save 1/10 per year, you can either put it under the mattress, in the mattress, however you want to say it, or you can put that money to work for you. So if you put that money to work for you, you should have more than 1 year's salary saved up. Now, the problem is, especially in this day and age, people are waiting until they're 50 years old, 45 years old, 55 years old, and then they're deciding that it's time to start saving for retirement. Well, if you want to retire at the average age of 65 to 70, and you've only been putting away 1/10 of your earnings for 10 years, and if there's no compounding interest, which is going to be a whole nother video, but if there's no compounding interest and there's no interest building on it in general, if your money's not working for you, how long do you want to retire for? A year? Or do you expect to retire as humble as possible, where you move into a shack, you have no vehicle, you stay at home, sit on the rocker, back and forth, just waiting to die? Or do you want to live in retirement? I mean, obviously you want to live today, and you have everybody talking about YOLO this and YOLO that, and I'm enjoying myself right now. You can enjoy yourself. If you're making so little of money that 1/10 hurts you that much, then you need to take a hard look in the mirror and see what you can do to bring more money in, especially if you're my age, if you're younger than me, if you're a millennial, if you're 40 and under. I mean, 40 today is not old. If you're 40, even if you're 40 right now, you're gonna live for at least another 45 years on average, likelihood. So what do you mean you're old? You might feel old because you've been sitting around, you've been doing nothing, or you get out of work and the first thing you do is go home and sit on the couch, but that's a choice. It's also a choice to spend every single dollar you make not thinking about later. Now, if you really want to enjoy life, if you take 4 years, and I'm gonna quote Gary Vee here, you take 4 years and you eat dirt, and then you take that 1/10 and have it work for you for the 4 years, you're gonna have a little bit of extra money. So maybe now that your gold is working for you, and then you want to step down, your silver is working for you, then you can utilize the money after that. But if you're just making whatever you make from your job and you're spending every single dollar of it, you are a slave to money. If you can't take the time and you can't set yourself a budget, because a budget is going to show you where the leaks are and what you're doing. Are you spending too much money on your car? Maybe it's time to trade that car in and get one that's cheaper. They just had the Mercedes CLA 250. It was like $349 a month. If you're spending $500 on a car, why won't you trade it in for the Mercedes and spend less? Are you spending too much on rent? Are you spending too much on car insurance? These are all things to look at, and they're going to help you to live a better life overall. Again, you don't want to be a slave to money. The average person in this country only makes about $26,000 a year right now. That's nothing. I mean, even if you're making $75,000, $80,000 a year, but you have zero in the bank, or you have less than $400 in the bank, what if something happens tomorrow? What if you have a pet and the pet needs something? If you have a child and the child needs something, if you pop a tire on your car, that $400 is gone. And now it's time to, gotta grind again. I gotta be stressed. What am I gonna do? But if you literally take 1/10 of your money and set it aside each month, hey, now if something happens, it's not as big of a deal. If you've sat with me before, I talk about having $1,000 to $2,000 set aside, depending on where you live. If you have to worry about hurricanes, then I say set aside a little bit more. But then you also want to have 6 months of your income set aside in case something happens. Now, I don't like the idea of having too much money set aside where it's not growing for you, which obviously we know putting money in a savings account right now is not growing, but you still want to be safe. And that safety is going to allow you to have the peace of mind to know that if something happens tomorrow that's negative, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't matter, really. You lose your job and you have 6 months savings, then you literally just go find another job, or you go start a business, or whatever. In this day and age, depending on where you live, you can find something. But if you're not willing to look, if you're not willing to make an adjustment to save $1 out of every 10 that you make, sorry, I don't have 2 hands available, 1 out of every $10 you make, if you can't put it aside, then who's going to do it for you? They're looking at adjusting Social Security, where Social Security is not going to kick in until it looks like it's going to be around 70 or older, depending on how young you are. And they're talking about even decreasing the percentage of what it pays out. So right now, I believe it pays out around 30% of what you paid in for, I think, an average of 20 years. So if you're one of my many acquaintances that are in the bar industry and you're not paying a whole lot in Social Security and taxes and Medicare, don't expect to get a whole lot out when you're 65. And that's most likely by the time we're old enough, it's going to be 65 is going to be the early age. And if you take it out early, then you're getting even less. So don't just expect, just don't expect somebody else to take care of it for you. It's our job to do it for ourselves and make everything else better. There's an abundance of money. The problem is not enough people are going after it and then keeping it. They're going after it just like the guy that wins the Powerball. He wins $1 billion. 2 months later, he's broke. How's that possible? Because he didn't have the mindset to keep that money. Do you have the mindset to make money and keep it? Or are you a victim of, I have to pay Apple, I have to pay Samsung, I have to pay Verizon, I have to pay AT&T, I have to pay Comcast, I have to pay Mercedes, I have to pay Audi, I have to pay Express, I have to pay Dolce & Gabbana, whatever you want to call, whatever name you want to drop. Are you a victim of having to pay them all the time to stay in the nicest, I'm thinking old time here because of the book I just read, stay in the nicest robes or the nicest clothing? You gotta have the nicest sunglasses, you gotta have a fresh haircut, fresh shave, you gotta have new jewelry, phone, all this stuff? Or is that just something that you tell yourself you need, but if you took 1/10 away, you wouldn't really feel it? Let me know what you guys think. I really want to hear what you think on this one. I want to know if you've done it, if you do anything like this to help build up your own nest egg. This is important to me. This is something that Amanda and I practice. So let me know what you guys are doing. Make sure you guys are following me on all social media. It's Chris Stacks. I appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. It's really important to me. I want to see this channel grow. If you guys want to hear something else, see something else, tell me. I'm really debating on doing a live soon. In the live, I want to get more interaction with you guys so I can hear exactly what your questions are. The DMs are great. The emails are great, but hit me up.